card weekend. Taylor, I don't even know where you want to start. I'll let you pick a game, and we'll start with it. Because we're going to talk about all the games. We're going to talk about all of them. So pick a game. We'll go with it.
I think the game that needs to be talked about first, and I think everybody else would agree, is the Chargers and the Jaguars. I don't know what could be said about that game, but Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars are a team to love and a team to follow, and a team that's going to be the team to beat in the next few years. I guarantee you this: if they keep doing what they're doing and they build up, whatever their weak spots are, if they fill those holes, I guarantee you within like 2025, they're going to be a Super Bowl contender, guaranteed.
My dad's probably watching like Taylor. You're not allowed down here anymore.
Look, all I'm saying is they were down. How much? What were they down? Like 21 points, I think. I think it was 21.
20,
whatever the 20 plus.
27, I think.
Yeah, they were down 20 plus points at halftime in a wild card game. I mean, that's just like, all right, wrap it up, put a bow on it. That's the Chargers won. Congratulations. Maybe next time, Jaguars. Nope. They went out. I don't know what was said in the locker room, but it had to have been something extremely interesting.
If I know Doug Peterson, it was like, hey, if y'all win this game, I'll get you as much ice cream. Yep, I'll get you as much ice cream as you want.
Whatever you want. We got all the flavors: Rocky Road, chocolate, vanilla swirl, whatever it is, you got it. But whatever that man said, whatever the team did in the locker room, I don't know if it was Trevor Lawrence who spoke up, because he has become an absolute phenomenal leader for that football team.
Yeah.
Doug has been probably the best thing to happen to that team, because it's a complete 180 from last season with Urban Meyer, because I think he was just there to get a quick paycheck
and dance on under 19-year-olds at a club.
Yeah, because there was talent to be used. I mean, the team is a good team, but they needed somebody to come in and be like, this is how we need to function in order to make the pieces work. We can't just do whatever we want and go out there and win. We actually have to come up with a plan in order to win.
Yeah.
And he found that plan, and they have been just dominating. Now, I wouldn't say dominating, but for the Jaguars, it's dominating. Now, I can't give Trevor Lawrence enough credit, because whenever it comes down to a situation where it's like in the fourth quarter, they're down a couple of scores, the dude throws absolute dimes.
Oh,
I mean, dimes.
Beautiful
passes, perfect spiral, placed perfectly. I mean, the wide receiver just has to run the route perfectly, or not perfectly, but just run the route, and the ball's going to be there no matter where you're at. It's amazing to watch. And
Speaking
then
of wide
after
receivers, you want to speak on Christian Kirk and how everyone overreacted and said that he was overpaid, and like, why would you pay Christian Kirk over $100 million, whatever, and all of a sudden he's got like 1,400 receiving yards and like 13 touchdowns, something like that.
After this, I'm going to send you a video that the Jaguars put up, that they put, because everybody was talking trash about Kirk. They were talking trash about ETN. They were talking trash about Lawrence and Evan Ingram. They were like, why would they go out and get these players that haven't proved anything? Kirk isn't worth this much money. Ingram should be
one of them.
He shouldn't be on a team.
I was one of them.
I mean, I didn't expect the Jaguars to be this good either. I don't think anybody really did. But they are. And it's fun to watch. It's a fun team, because when they're down, like when you see a team down, you're like, whew, man, that sucks. That's a wrap. 20 plus points come back in the second half. I mean, it happens, but it's like this thing that happens every once in a while. It's nothing you ever expect to happen. But man, they do it all the time now. This season, I think they did it against the Ravens. They came back in the fourth quarter with 2 minutes left, scored and won the game.
Yeah.
Now they've done it in the playoffs. They beat the Chargers. So we've talked about the Chargers and how good they are and how they're really, forming into a contender. Now we need to talk about the Chargers. They have all the pieces they possibly could ever need to be a Super Bowl contending team. They have a really good quarterback. They have wide receivers. Granted, they've been injured. They have one of the best running backs in the league. They have a pretty solid defense. So what's the issue? It boils down to their head coach. Plain and simple. That's the reason why they didn't make the playoffs, or not the playoffs. That's the reason why they didn't go far last season, was because their head coach. And
Well,
now
it looks
this
like they're
season,
keeping him. They fired their offensive
they fired
coordinator.
offensive coach or offensive coordinator and somebody else, which
Their passing
kind
game
of
coordinator, Shane Day. They fired offensive coordinator Joe Lombardi and their passing game coordinator, Shane Day.
which
So,
pretty much says like, hey, we're giving this guy another go because we don't think it's him.
yeah.
I personally think if you took him out, Sean Payton or
Sean
somebody
Payton
else,
with Justin Herbert would be
I'm telling you,
nasty.
Sean Payton with the Chargers, the way that they are right now, the Jaguars probably wouldn't be where they're at.
Yeah.
So I don't know what needs to happen, but something definitely needs to happen. And if this whole firing of these two coaches doesn't pan out and they're in the same situation
He's
next
out.
season,
This is hot seat. This is hot seat. It's hot. I'm not talking about it's burning.
It's go deep. Yeah, it's go deep into the playoffs or adios.
Yeah.
See you later, buddy. But the other thing I want to mention, because the Chargers, they got a lot to figure out because they should not be losing like this, is the fact that Trevor Lawrence went to Waffle House after that game.
My man.
That says a lot about a person. If you just won an NFL playoff game, wild card game, after being down 20-something points, and you're like, man, I could really go for an all-star breakfast right now.
That sounds good right now.
Waffle House? You hit up a Waffle House? I mean, how much more could you connect to an NFL fan than going to Waffle House after a...
Imagine being those fans in there. They're sitting there late at night, a lot of people go to Waffle House when they're drunk or anything like that. They're just sitting there like college kids, whatever, just eating, and all of a sudden they look up and they're like, dude, you look like Trevor Lawrence. They're like, I am Trevor Lawrence.
I mean, that would be the best Waffle House story. Man, I was eating at like 1 o'clock in the morning at Waffle House, and then boom, this majestic being with the golden locks just walked in, and he looked like Trevor Lawrence. And you look on the news the next day,
cook
and it is him.
My cook put down his blunt and was like, yo, is that Trevor Lawrence?
They put the teeth back in and everything when he walked in.
Yeah.
But no, I mean most NFL players, they hit up clubs or, they go to strip clubs. They go out to nice fancy restaurants. They do stuff that rich people do. But Trevor Lawrence went to Waffle House. I think that's pretty cool and down to earth of him to, most people would say, oh, he went below what he is by going to Waffle House. But I think that's cool that he's not so big in the head where he's like, man, let's go to this 5-star or this like 3-star Michelin restaurant, have a really nice meal. He's like, let's go get some pancakes or waffles or whatever at Waffle House and, just chill. I think that's pretty cool.
Didn't know you can make reservations.
Make reservations. Well, if you're Trevor Lawrence, I'm pretty sure they make an exception.
Listen, and if you guys don't know Waffle House, you know how good a Waffle House is by if there's roaches. If your cook is out there smoking a cigarette or smoking some marijuana before seeing you walk in and him walking in after you. If he's smoking weed or smoking a cigarette and it's dirty as mess when you walk in, that Waffle House is about to be the best food you've ever had.
Here in North Carolina, the way to know if a Waffle House is going to be good is if there's a sheriff's car parked in the parking lot. If there's not a sheriff's car, leave because the food's going to suck. But if there's a sheriff's car there, that food's about to hit.
You might lose your life, but you know what?
It's going to be good.
The food's going to be good.
Yeah. But if you don't see that sheriff there, don't go.
Yeah. To your point about the Chargers and Brandon Staley, I think, again, that seat is burning hot. If he doesn't make it next year and whatnot, he's out. Justin Herbert, and to Emmanuel Ocho's point, he didn't do anything great. But he didn't do anything to lose that game for the Chargers. So I don't understand the whole social media quarterback. Well, look at these 1 or 2 throws. He had 1 touchdown, no interceptions, almost like 200 or 300 yards. I can't remember. But he played a solid game. The offense sucked in the second half. But that defense, while it was great, you had 5 turnovers. You should not lose. Let's look at this straight. You should not lose a game with 5 turnovers. You should not lose a game being up 27-0. What happened to the defense in the second half? Derwin James was interviewed after, and he said, we just couldn't get a stop. And that's the point. You could not get a stop. For whatever reason, Jacksonville had your number. I mean, 4 interceptions in the first half and then 4 touchdowns in the second half. Y'all should have been in Trevor Lawrence's head. Y'all should have been going after it. And then we talk about the accountability issues and maybe the players' issue. I understand Joey Bosa was upset. He was held by Jawan Taylor. Jawan Taylor also in that same play, false started. It was not called. And Joey was walking to the sideline. He was visibly upset. Then the ref came up and started chatting. We don't know what the ref said. And Joey got even more heated, and that's when he started throwing his helmet and all that, and then it costed a penalty for the Jags to get a first down. Now, he talked about it in the game. He got interviewed, and he said he took some accountability. He said, my fault. But then in the same sense that he took accountability and said that he should not have been as hot, as he did, he then blamed the refs and said the refs lost him the game. Listen, the refs made a blue 1, 2, maybe 3, maybe 4 calls. All right? And I get the frustration. As someone who's played football, I get the frustration. As a fan, I get the frustration. But you guys did not do anything that entire second half to stop Trevor Lawrence from getting in the end zone. Nothing.
Look, so I think we all remember a couple of years ago when the Rams made it to the Super Bowl off of that obvious pass interference against the Saints that was not called. And everybody was like, oh, they cost us the game, and now they go to the Super Bowl. We don't, whatever. Drew Brees, after that game, said we should not have been in a position where a missed call by a referee decided our fate.
Exactly.
It's on us for being in that position of a tied game or a field goal makes a decision or a missed call makes a decision. That's on us, 100%. He was like, if you're going to go out there and say, oh, the refs lost us the game because they missed that one call, it's not on the refs. It's on us because we put ourselves in a position where that was the deciding factor. And I think that's very true. And I, as a fan, I do get upset, like, hey, that was holding, like, that just cost us the game.
Yeah.
But if you actually look at it, that's not what costed you the game. What costed you the game was not playing well, not being able to defend well, not being able to get passes where they needed to be, not picking up first downs, 3 and outs, muffed punts, whatever it is. That's the reason why. Not because the ref didn't see one thing out of the hundreds of things that are going on during a game.
Yeah.
They're human. Refs are going to make mistakes. They're not going to see everything. If you're getting held, a ref may not be able to see it because of certain players in the way. That's what happens. There's a bunch of people going. Go ahead.
Oh, I was going to pose the question. I'll let you finish your thought, and then I'll have you answer this question after you finish your thought. Should there be? This is the question after you finish your thought. Should there be maybe a blue flag or orange flag that you only get one time per game where you can challenge a penalty call where they look back and see there's a penalty? Just one, because obviously you don't want to slow the game down too much, but just one. Per each team. Per each team, obviously.
I would say yes. But you would definitely have to keep it to like 1 or 2 because, like you said, if you give them 5 or whatever,
it would slow it way down.
Yeah.
You get one challenge play and then one challenge of the penalty play for each team.
I would say they should just incorporate that into the already challenge flag where it's just, hey, give them an extra, like you have your regular 2 and then you get an additional 4, hey, I'm pretty sure that there was holding on that play, throw the flag. But the thing with that is if you watch a football game, the amount of holds that go on after you finish your thought, proceeds to ask a question. I was pretty much done with it anyways. But the amount of holds that happen during a game, most of them aren't called.
Yeah.
If you actually watch, people are getting held every single time. The only time it really gets called is if a running back just breaks through a hole and you're like, dang, that was a wide open hole.
Yeah.
But, you see over the offensive lineman's just sitting there just grasping for dear life. I think that would be tough because, pretty much you're going to get the call and be like, yeah, one of them was holding. Throw it out there and they review it and like, yeah, there was 3 holds that play.
Well, I'm saying in a sense of it was called hey, holding on the offense. They only look at that player. If there's holding somewhere else, it doesn't matter. But you're like, okay, they zoom in. Okay, there's not holding. He wasn't holding or he false started. So the penalty picked up or whatnot. Ryan says they're good at picking up flags from New York telling them. But, yeah, that was my question.
I mean, I could see if it's like a persistent problem, but I mean, the refs are always going to be blamed for,
Everything.
yeah, especially when you're a losing team. It's always going to be, oh, the refs screwed us. But for the most part, it's never really the refs that screw you. Uh, I mean, sometimes it's kind of like, yeah, like they really throughout the entire game heavily penalize one team more than the other and let a lot of things slide for the other team. So in those instances, I feel like this would be a good, like, hey, we're calling you out on your BS. Like that was a false start or that was offsides, whatever it is, throw the flag. It would be hard to incorporate though. I
Yeah.
feel like it would take time. Maybe they could. So the XFL is partnered with the NFL, kind of like that's going to be like their like G League, like in the NBA, kind of their like minor league,
Hmm.
and they're going to do certain things. They're going to test certain rules and regulations and changes that the NFL wants to possibly make, and they're going to test it in the XFL. So this could be something that they test in the XFL, see how it works, see if it's too much, too little, causes more frustration than anything. So I could see them using it in that, see how that goes, and if it works, then why not?
Yeah. So
But
then
I will say this: I'm not giving the refs like
a
a pass or
pass.
anything.
Yeah.
I do think that the refs sometimes do blow some calls that are like extremely important calls to be made. Uh, so I'm not taking away the blame towards the refs. I don't want anybody to think I'm siding with referees or anything.
Yeah. Narc.
Yeah, I don't want to be on that boat.
Taylor's a narc. All right. The next game I want to talk about. What just happened? Please tell me it didn't delete it. All right, didn't. All right. Next game I want to talk about. Sorry, I deleted the script that I in front of me. The Ravens versus the Bengals. Tyler Huntley played decent with Lamar Jackson's absence. However, J.K. Dobbins, no relation to J.K. Rowling, so why there was some magic on the field,
Yep,
and there's
because
magic
most
in the
people are
books.
related by first names.
Dobbins a free elf. He said he's tired of not getting the ball, and that if they had Lamar Jackson in, they would have won. Now, first, yes, they had Lamar, they would have won. That was a very close game for the Bengals. The Bengals' defense and offensive line did not look great. 2, way to throw your teammate under the bus. Tyler Huntley went out there, fought valiantly, and he comes back to the locker room, goes on social media just to see his teammate, probably 5 or 6 lockers away, trashing him, saying, yeah, well, hey, Huntley played decent, but Lamar was in? Come on now. Like, we need Lamar. How would you feel as a player to sit there and, blood, sweat, and tears? You're trying your best to win this game, and you're putting your team in a somewhat decent position, and then all of a sudden, hey, he played decent, but the other guy, you know what I'm saying? Bada bing, bada boom, he would have won. You know what I'm saying?
Well, there's two sides to this. There's one side where you can be like, hey, this is the first time we've seen an NFL player be brutally honest in
Yeah.
his interview. There wasn't I'm declining to answer, or it's a team game. We all should have played better, or I'm glad with the reps that I got. He was straight to the point and said, I need the ball more.
My man sounded so nerdy by saying that. Gee
need.
willikers.
I'm open, and I'm not getting the ball.
Yeah.
What's up with that? Straight up. I appreciate the honesty, but then the other side of it is go over to his locker, go over to him on the sideline and say, what the hell are you doing? Give me the ball. I am open. I can make plays. Give me the ball.
Some of that's on the offensive coordinator not handing him the ball. I mean,
true, but go up to him, talk to him. You are when you're on the field, you have the option to call an audible. You have the option to make changes. What are they going to do? Put Lamar back in? Nope, he's injured. What are they going to do? Right?
Yeah.
It's a playoff game. Go out there and make plays. If you think, hey, maybe he deserves to get the ball some more, he can make some plays. Our O-line's working hard. He can find a hole and get us a first down. Whatever it is, give him the ball.
Yeah.
So that's the other aspect. I mean, you can say, "Oh, he called us out. That's kind of rude." Man up. He called you out. He called the team out. Suck it up.
Mommy, you
Do
hurt my
better.
feelings.
And if you are Tyler Huntley and you're like, "Oh yeah, somebody just said Lamar would have won us that game," yeah, he would have. Lamar is a 10 times better player than you are. That's just a fact. That's why he's a starter and you're on the bench.
Ooh,
That's why you came in whenever he was hurt.
gotta get
Straight
you
up.
and Tyler Huntley in the ring,
You know,
man. This sounds like a
the
Jake
NFL,
Paul beef over here.
the NFL is no place for spared feelings. Okay, it is straight up business, and the best players get to play. That's why he was riding the bench until he got hurt. That's
That
a
game was not
fact.
on Tyler Huntley though. I will argue that he played. He
But
played. No, he for whatever reason he went high on a QB sneak. First of all, they should not. It was like they were really 2 yards away from the first down. They should not have ran a QB sneak. But second of all, he did go high instead of going low on the QB sneak, which then was able then to force the fumble, which went to Sam Hubbard, who went 98 yards, longest touchdown and defensive touchdown.
And you know who wouldn't have gone high? Lamar.
Not Laramie Tunsil. I know he likes to go high.
Oh yeah, but Lamar wouldn't. So
Yeah.
Lamar would have put them in better situations. Lamar is a better quarterback. That's just a fact. Feelings are eventually going to creep in. Maybe he's like, man, that really sucks that he would say that. But it's a fact. Lamar would have probably won them the game, honestly.
So, speaking of Lamar, obviously we know his contract situation with the Ravens going on. They tried to work something out, then it kind of fizzled out. Maybe not be a Raven next year. Michael Vick went on ESPN and said Lamar needs to man up and play. Put a brace on it. Put a brace on your leg, man up and play. It's 3 games. You can take your boys to the Super Bowl, your team to the Super Bowl. Man up and do it. Now, to Vic's point, I understand as a player, hey, if I'm putting my body on the line, why can't you? But Lamar did the right thing. And this is why I say this.
Yes.
RG3 tried to do that. RG3 tried to put a brace on his leg and play through the exact same injury. Where's RG3 at now? He has a successful broadcasting career, but his career was completely derailed ever since that. 2, there's, like you said, there's no guarantees in the NFL when we're talking about money. Most players play 3-4 years before they can get retirement. He hasn't got his big-time contract yet. He plays, gets hurt. Next year goes to free agency. Maybe the Ravens don't give him the money he wants. Maybe they say, hey, you're hurt. Why would he want you? We'll go get someone else.
Yep.
2, no other team's going to want him with their more messed up leg. Because with Lamar Jackson, while he is a great thrower of the ball, the full Lamar Jackson experience and threat and the epitome of Lamar Jackson, when you think Lamar, is the ability to not only throw it, but the greater ability to run it. When there is not when there's no one open, when there's no lanes open, when you need that first down, Lamar is going to run, right?
Yeah. And we need to, as a collective community of NFL fans and including players who are now on broadcast booth or commentating, we all need to come to a solid agreement on when players should play and when they should be benched. Because we say, oh, Tua should be out for the rest of the season. He got hurt. But if he got cleared by the doctors, why can't he play? Oh, because he got hurt again. Then why aren't we saying the same thing for Lamar? He goes out there while not 100% and gets, a hit to the knee, or he, tries to run the ball and he gets twisted up or something and then just destroys his knee. RG3 all over again, like you just said.
Yeah.
Damar Hamlin, we say, oh, we need to make sure our players are healthy. We need to make sure that we're taking the correct measures to ensure the safety of our players. Where do we draw that line? What players get that, exemption and which players don't?
Yeah.
We can't say this about these players, and then whenever it's a star quarterback, we have to say, oh, you have to play.
Yeah.
You have to go out there and put your body on the line because you are the star quarterback of that team. It's not how it goes. If we're going to say every player that's able to walk should be on that field, then make it known for everybody. Everybody has to be out there. You just cleared protocol for that concussion. Get out there. I don't care if you've had 3. Can you walk? Did you just get cleared? You had to play. Okay? I don't care what's going on. That's what it. That's.
Yeah.
I'm sure if we go back and look at Vic's statements, he'll be like, oh, Tua should sit out the rest of the season and, really think about his career
Yeah,
and, what he wants to do after football. Is this right for him? But now it's with Lamar, and he's like, get out there and run. Get out there and play football. Who cares? Put a brace on it. That's stupid. This
yeah.
man is seeking a huge contract. So for him, does it make sense to go out there and
Nope.
put your body on the line for a game you might not win because the Bengals have been playing some really good football? They've got a really good quarterback and the best wide receiving core in the entire league. And then they got Joe Mixon back there. That's a threat of a team right there. Am I going to want to go out there and put my knee on the line? Nah. I'm going to sit here. I'm going to rehab. I'm going to say, team, you guys, look, you guys can go out there and do it. But unfortunately, I got to sit back for myself. I got to heal my knee up, blah, blah, blah. I'm sitting the bench. And that's what
Yeah.
he did, and that's what he should have done. I like Michael Vick as a player, but that take, trash. 100% trash.
Throw it in the trash can. I agree. Now, retrospect, we're talking about the Ravens in that game. Obviously, they lost. They put up a good fight, Tyler Huntley and everything like that. The Bengals won. Joe Burrow looked solid. That offensive line and that defense did
Still
not.
wet cardboard.
Yeah. And if I'm a Bengals fan, that is major concern headed. Who are they playing next week? They're playing. Are they playing the Chiefs
The
or the
Bengals,
Bills?
no, the Bengals are playing. Yeah, they're playing the Bills. The Bengals are playing the Jaguars.
Chiefs are playing the Jaguars.
Chiefs
Yeah.
are playing the
So yeah,
Jaguars,
they're
and the
playing the
Bengals are
Bills.
playing the Bills.
Okay. And the Bills are a solid team, and they struggled against a third string, led
Chip
Skylar
Skylar.
Thompson. Yeah, Chip Skylark, shiny teeth and me. Skylar Thompson over there in Miami. So they both these teams had deficiencies, but we're talk about the Bengals here. The Bengals needed to get together because if they really truly want to compete with the Chiefs, and right now, after seeing the Bills play, after seeing the Bengals play, and I know we said it was a 3-man race and it's anybody's game, it's the Chiefs. Simple. It's the
Yeah,
Chiefs. Chiefs
absolutely.
have separate. They are up here. Bills struggled against a third string quarterback. The Bengals struggled against a second string quarterback. They're down here. Yeah, S tier, A tier. All right. So if the Bengals want to compete with the Chiefs and if they get past the Bills, they got to shore up that defense and they got to shore up that offensive line because I tell you one thing: the Chiefs are coming and they're not coming lightly. I mean, they're doing Ferris wheel, get you a defense spinning in the regular season. So what do you think they're going to do in the postseason? So the Bengals tighten up, man. It's time to tighten up. I'll let you speak on the Bengals if you'd like.
Do what?
I'd let you speak on the Bengals if you'd like.
Oh, I think that the Bengals, whatever happens this during the postseason, they need to make some drastic changes to that offensive line. I mean, draft players, free agents. I don't care what it is, but they need to beef up that offensive line because Joey B has already been injured once because that offensive line cannot hold up. And if it happens again, Andrew Luck, kind of, am I going to stay in the league? Do I want to stay on this team? I don't want to keep getting injured, beat up. And I can't remember if it was who it is on their offensive line, but he's allowed 12 sacks this season. And I think it's like a franchise record, which is not a record you want to hold. But he's allowed like 12 sacks this season.
That's a record, though, at least.
I mean, it's still a record.
I'm a record-holding offensive lineman in the NFL.
But if I'm a quarterback, get that guy out of here. Why is he starting? You want me to be protected, but you're not giving me protection to go out there and make the plays that I need to make. So whatever happens, even if they go to the Super Bowl, you have to take a good hard look at who's on that offensive line and start picking and pulling and throwing some people in that actually can hold up their end of the bargain and give him time to throw because he's getting destroyed back there. I mean, Andrew Luck was one of the most sacked quarterbacks when he was playing. And now Joe Burrow is starting to become the most sacked quarterback of the players he's playing with. I think last season, in the postseason, he was sacked for a record. He was 9 or 10 times in one game. In the postseason, I get it in a regular season because it's a regular season game, but postseason, 9 times?
Yeah.
That's absurd. And we're starting to see it happen again and again and again.
I think Taylor froze. There he is. You're good. You had froze for a second. There we go. We caught back up. We're good. We're good. I see you. All right.
Yeah, just got to beef up that offensive line is pretty much all I was saying.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Well, so we're going to move on. Sorry, guys. Again, it's not the booth without some technical difficulties ever happening.
Absolutely not.
So we talked about the Bills and how they struggled. We're going to, first of all, the Miami Dolphins, I don't care who is saying it, they would not have won that game with Tua. But there was a close game. I don't care. I hate to be the bearer of bad news to you Miami Dolphins fans, but Tua has hit his ceiling.
With his head.
With his head. He went head first, right? And he's wobbling. The last couple of games that Tua started, he did not look great. He looked all right, did not look great, and I think that's what he is. He's an above average quarterback, right? You can win games with him. Obviously, they did, but he hit a hot streak, and he started to kind of fizzle out a little bit. So the Dolphins, I still think, maybe they go after a Derek Carr, who's slightly better than Tua. Maybe they go after somehow to get Brady, who's better at his old age. Is probably. I don't know if I go with Brady. I think I'd rather keep Tua at that point. Maybe they draft the quarterback. But let's get one thing straight. Well, I know Acho loves Tua, and he hates Herbert, in a sense. And he tries to say Tua's better. Tua's not better than Herbert. Herbert on the Miami Dolphins with Jalen Waddle, with Tyreek Hill, and with that offense and defense, Super Bowl contenders. Tua's not there. Okay. Now we go to the Bills. They skate by. They poorly led. Skylar Thompson played his all, but he is what everyone thought Brock Purdy was going to be, which was, struggle. So the Bills, if I'm the Bills, tighten up. Like I said with the Bengals, tighten up. Because if you want to win for DeMar, you gotta fix something. Because there's no way you should be that close of a game with a third string quarterback led Miami Dolphins.
Now, remember last show, I brought it up that they struggled against teams they shouldn't struggle against. They struggled against the Jets and lost that game. They've struggled against Miami. Granted, Tua was playing and everybody was healthy, but they still struggled. And then there was somebody else they struggled against. The Bills are not consistent. They have their games where it's like, man, the Bills are Super Bowl. That's a Super Bowl team. And then you've got games like this where they're struggling against a Skyler, whatever his name is, or I don't even know the guy's name. Chip Skylark, we'll call him for now. But you struggle against him. That's not how the Bills should play. They are a much better team than that. Mm-hmm. Josh Allen is a all-around quarterback, great passer, great rusher. He can extend plays when needed. You have one of the best wide receivers in Diggs. That connection's got to get fixed. I think that's what's really faulting this team right now is the connection between Allen and Diggs. There's something going on there. I don't know if it's a play calling issue where they're not really getting Diggs into position to get the ball or what's going on, but something there has to change because that's, in my opinion, the reason why it's not really panning out the way it needs to pan out. Because if your star player isn't getting the reps, what do you expect to happen with the team?
Yeah.
You got to start getting him involved in order to start winning games.
Yeah, I agree. So, and again, if you're a Bills fan, hey, I think the Bills are going to be I think the Bengals are going to beat the Bills, to be honest. But there is a chance that the Bills have because the offensive line for the Bengals kind of suck. Not kind of.
They suck.
They suck. So I believe we just talked about all three AFC games. We're going to go over to the NFC. Taylor, pick an NFC game. We'll start from wherever.
We'll just go with the Cowboys and the Buccaneers. I mean, I fell asleep during the game. I mean, that's how bad it was. I mean, I've stayed up for every single game. I've been entertained by every single game, but that one, snooze fest. I gotta give them, I gotta give the Cowboys their credit. Dak Prescott lit it up. That's the first time I've seen Dak Prescott play a football game that equates to the amount of money he's getting paid.
Yeah.
That's the first time I've seen it. Every other time, I'm like, man, this dude is way overpaid. But if that's how he plays every game, worth the money, 100%. Pay him more, because that man lit it up. Granted, each and every single one of his wide receivers, for the most part, were pretty much open the entire game.
Well, that's what I want to ask.
There was like zero changes on the defensive side of the ball for the Buccaneers.
Are the Cowboys that good, or the Buccaneers just that bad?
I think the Buccaneers are that bad, but regardless, the Cowboys still showed up. Like, if they played a solid Buccaneers team, I still think they would have edged out. But that was a weak, dysfunctional, unmotivated Buccaneers team. It didn't look like they were in the playoffs at all. It looked like they were in their third game of the season.
Yeah.
They lost the first two. So they weren't really, sure what to expect during the game. If I'm going, regardless of what my record is, how we've played throughout the season, as soon as you make it to the playoffs, 0-0.
Yeah.
Show them what we've got. We pretty much everything was practice up until now. Let's go out there and put on a show and make everything work the way that it's supposed to work. Tom Brady, he ain't staying.
He's out.
Tom Brady is gone. I don't think he's retiring.
Kyle Trask?
It's somebody. I don't know who's going to be their quarterback, but it ain't Tom Brady. I don't know if Tom Brady's going to retire. I don't believe he will, but I don't think he's sticking with the Buccaneers.
Neither is Brian Leftwich, by the way.
Leftwich, and I think Bowles got to go.
Yeah, there's reports that they're firing Leftwich at the end of this week. So
they're firing Leftwich?
Yeah, the offense was dookie cheeks. They're saying, hey, he's out.
Leftwich does not deserve to be fired. But when he is fired, he will get picked up and he will be a head coach somewhere. I think it's Todd Bowles. I think because when Bruce was in, good to go. They won a Super Bowl. They almost made it to another Super Bowl. And then this season, what was it, 8-9? Or no, they were
8. Yeah, I think they're 8-9.
I believe
8-9.
8-9. I think this was Tom Brady's first season under 500.
Yep.
First season under 500. I mean, if you put the pieces together, it's a head coaching issue.
Tom Brady didn't play good, though. Don't give Tom that much. Tom did not play good this entire season. He has looked like a noodle arm. True. He has looked not necessarily deer in the headlights, but he has not looked like Tom Terrific, as everyone used to call him. He looked like an average quarterback.
Yes. So he's gone. Todd Bowles maybe gets one more season. Leftwich deserves a head coaching job. I don't think this season is Leftwich's, this is on him. Maybe head coach of the Colts for Leftwich. I could see it.
Maybe.
I could see it because it ain't Saturday.
Yeah.
But there's the off season for the Buccaneers is gonna be interesting.
It definitely will be. Again, Tom Brady. Just the kind of well, hold on. We'll talk about Tom Brady after we get to these games. It's on the bill. It's on the billing. Someone said, "Thank God, no more Tom Terrific." Hey, Tom Terrific. I think he's sticking around. And again, we'll get to that. Which team? Maybe not Tampa, but which team we'll discuss. As far as the Cowboys, he looked great. He did. Regardless, the Tampa Bay has a decent defense. It's not like they've got Antoine Winfield Jr. They've got Levante David and company. They have a decent. They don't have a great defense. They have a decent defense, and Dak looked good. And it raised the question: Kellen Moore, could Kellen Moore get a head coaching job? It's been talked about for a couple of years. He called a good game, so they finally get over that kind of playoff hump. And they're obviously going against the 49ers, which will be an entirely different story.
Did you say playoff hump? That's a playoff mountain that they had to get over.
They got over it, though. They got over it. It was a mountain. They climbed it. But the thing with the Cowboys is I just don't trust them in the playoffs. Can they beat the 40? To me, the 49ers is a team to beat. Not the Eagles, not the Cowboys, not the Giants, but the 49ers. And that's a tough game for the Cowboys. So I know this is our year, chancer. Cowboys Nation. This is our year. We them boys. Brock Purdy. Hey, he's the man. He is the man. He is him. Yeah. He got that dog in him, just like Taylor has in his background there. All right. So now, if the Cowboys can beat the great 49er team that they have right now, to me, Cowboys could be favorites to go Super Bowl. All right. Then they'll be in the championship game. No matter if they play the Eagles or the Giants, I think they'd be the favorites. Just because I think the 49ers are just that good right now.
Yeah,
but it all depends on Rain Dakota Prescott. All right, because we saw him in the regular. Now, again, like you said, 0-0 postseason is different than the regular season. But we saw him only play, missed out on like 5 or 6 games, and then came back and still led the league in interceptions. Trying to play hero ball, trying to do too much. If they get down to the 49ers by maybe a score, maybe 2, does Dakota Prescott start raining down some interceptions? I don't know. We'll see what the spotlight looks on him. He hasn't really been in this position before. Usually they lose and they're out. Cool beans. No. Cool beans.
Yeah, I think last season they lost because he decided to run when he shouldn't have, and
so the spotlight's on. Cowboys, listen, Cowboys are no joke. Don't sleep on them. Dak played great. Give him his flowers. So we move on to the 49ers and a team that everybody says should have been in the Lions, but it was unfortunately the Seahawks. The Seahawks got in, and they wrote back. Hey, Gino, they wrote back, by the way. All right, they wrote back. All I got to say.
I don't know if we could say that.
You don't?
I don't think that's fair to say he is the.
No, he's not the reason they lost. I'm saying they wrote back in the sense of that. Hey, I mean the Seahawks did not play great as a whole. Not Gino by himself.
Gotcha.
I'm saying the 49ers, they got your letter saying that Seahawks are for real, and they said, "Oh man, we got to cancel this request. Send it back."
I'll agree. I mean, there's not much to even say about that game. The 49ers, like you've said, I've said, I think we both thoroughly agree. They are that team. Everything is clicking for them. Brock Purdy is killing it. I mean, the receivers are getting open. Running backs are playing terrific. Offensive line's holding up well. And the defense, best in the league.
Chef's kiss.
I mean, it is A1, like that is the defense you want. The Seahawks just were not a match. I mean, yes, they played good considering everything they were put up against, with everybody doubting them.
Yeah.
But they just did not have the pieces to even compete, honestly. And I think in the first half, it was a really close game, but the 49ers were making mistakes that just weren't like them to make, especially on the defensive side of the ball. They were just allowing simple stuff to happen that should not be allowed to happen with a defense like that. And they went into the locker room. They probably were like, hey, look, just, you got to watch over this. Other than that, good to go. And they did that. And they stopped the Seahawks for the rest of the game pretty much. And it was an absolute blowout in the second half. So
yeah, I mean, to talk about Brock Purdy, last week we said the 49ers are a threat as long as the spotlight and the playoff spotlight and the inexperience of the playoffs did not get to Brock Purdy. He looked like he's been in the league for years. He was made for this situation. And to be honest, frankly, at this point, one playoff win, even if they lose to the Cowboys, you don't go back to Trey Lance. This is Brock Purdy's team. This is Brock Purdy's team. As a fan, this is Brock Purdy's team. I do not want to. I didn't understand. We haven't really seen Trey Lance. He got hurt week 1, week 2, whatever. We didn't really get to see Trey Lance. Ship him out. Get your draft capital back. Get a 2nd or 3rd round pick for Trey Lance. Ship him out. Brock Purdy's team it is. Simple as that. 49ers are the team to beat. And if you disagree, I'm sorry. Hey,
You're wrong.
you're wrong. You're wrong. Brock Purdy's looking great.
Yep.
And then we get to the Giants versus
and the
Vikings game, which, listen, Kirk Cousins, primetime game, said it all season. Deer in the headlights.
I had the Vikings winning that one, but I got kirked.
You got kirked.
But,
Kirk the soul. Kirk the skull? Huh? Skull Vikings? Nah. Pun intended.
Kirk Cousins is not a terrible quarterback.
Nope. He's not.
But is Kirk Cousins the guy you want on your team with a player like Justin Jefferson? No. He is not going to be able to take that team far into the playoffs. And then if they make the Super Bowl, I could not count on Kirk Cousins winning that game for us.
Nope.
I cannot count on him to extend plays when we need plays extended. I cannot. I mean, heck, I can't even count on Kirk Cousins to throw the ball further than 3 yards on a 4th and 8 with the game on the line. What? Who does that? I mean, TJ's not really like the guy you throw to whenever you need 10 yards when the game's on the line.
Hawkinson's good, though. Don't sleep on Hawkinson now.
No, he is 100%. But that's not my go-to guy. If I have Justin Jefferson on the field and it's 4th and 8, we screw this up, we're out.
Yeah.
It's going to Justin Jefferson. I don't care if he's, got like 15 people on him somehow. I don't care what the scenario is.
Well, that'd be a penalty. There's only 11 people on defense, sir.
I don't care what the scenario is. That's why I said if. But either way, I don't care what position we're in. If he's on the field, throwing it.
Yeah.
He said it's that
Michigan State education.
I firmly believe, I don't know if it's going to happen this season because it's hard to say we're done with this quarterback when you make the playoffs. It's hard to say we're done with this quarterback when you won 13 games. It's hard whenever you have a season like they had and say, hey, we're done with you. But he's the reason why they are not Super Bowl contenders. You remove him from the team and place in a good quarterback. That's not just like an above
Justin
average
Herbert.
Quarterback. If they had Justin Herbert, I'm pretty sure they would have beat the Giants.
Yeah.
I think Kirk Cousins is what's wrong with that team. I like Kirk Cousins. He's a likable guy. I want him to win, but he can't make things happen. That's just who he is. That's his career. He's a Phillip Rivers, in my opinion. He's a good quarterback, but he's never going to amount to anything.
Okay, we gotta have some type of chemistry, guys, because I was literally just about to ask you, and I was about to say this. I think Kirk Cousins is the Phillip Rivers of this generation of quarterbacks.
Absolutely.
You have Patrick Mahomes, who maybe is like the Brady, Joe Burrow and like Manning, kind of like those tier, and then you have Phillip Rivers, and that is Kirk Cousins. And the fact that you just said that, I was like, no freaking way, because I was just about to say that.
I mean, it matches up. Like he some of the plays he makes, it's like, man, great quarterback. And then 4 plays later, you're like, what are you doing? Why did you make that play? Why did you throw that? Why, what are you doing? It's just, he can make some stuff happen, but every negative he has, it's 10 steps forward and then 20 steps back.
Yeah.
And that's it. Just he's never going to get a ring unless he's riding the bench with a, like Patrick Mahomes starting for him or something.
And to that comp, that's the thing that everyone said about Phillip was he's a good quarterback. You win games with Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers, don't get me wrong, Phillip Rivers, that Chargers days with LT, Phillip Rivers, Antonio Gates, that was a squad. They had Chris Chambers and everything. That was a squad. But Phillip Rivers, to be honest, he might have been that person who maybe held that team back. He helped them in some games, hurt them in others. So that Kirk Cousins comp to Phillip Rivers is perfect because Kirk Cousins, he is a good quarterback. To say he's not a good quarterback is asinine, right? Naive.
Yeah.
But he is not the quarterback that has that ability to, when the lights are on, his eyes start to glow and he starts to get, deer in headlights. Just disappears.
And I know we're a football show, but there's sports fans watching and sports fans who listen. But a good comparison for me is Kirk is kind of like Russell Westbrook when he was on the Thunder. He is a good player. I mean, it's undeniable he's a good player. You got the most triple doubles in NBA history, whatever, like 100 plus. But he's not taking that team to win an NBA title. He's really good, but he's not good enough when he needs to be good enough. Like he can't get to where he needs to go, even though he's good. Like he can't fill in the weak spots on the team.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes can fill in the weak spots on his team. Tom Brady has been able to fill in the weak spots in his team. He's been able to find ways to win. Joe Burrow can fill in the weak spots. You can take Chase out. They can still win games because Joe Burrow understands how to play that game without that piece. He can make stuff happen. You just have players that can do that. And Phillip Rivers was not that guy, and Kirk Cousins is not that guy.
You're not that guy, pal. You're not that guy.
Not that guy, pal. You like that?
You like that?
I don't.
So,
like Super Bowls.
The Giants. Daniel Jones, he's got some wheels to him, man. Danny Dimes, listen, he is, as they always say to the white athletic players, he is sneaky athletic.
Yep.
All right.
He is like that. So I'm not too big into like cars or anything, but like you see all these cars that are like tricked out and everything, and they're really fast, and it's like, yeah, that's a fast car. But then you see that Honda Civic that's like rusted on the side, and it's got like
a Honda
tail
Civic,
light,
man,
like a tail light hanging out on the back.
Yeah.
But they've souped it up, and it's just like, dang, that thing's fast. My goodness, that's Daniel Jones. You look at it and you're like, that's not. That can't do anything. And then he's like, like whoa. Dang, all right, Danny Dimes. He's definitely got some wheels on him.
He's been playing good football too, and a lot of people were including myself. I was like, hey, if the Giants do nothing this season, he's out. And
I was one of them also.
Yeah, and he's doing something. Saquon Barkley, arguably comeback player of the year, playing great, top 5 running back. Back to his normal self.
I think CMC's got that one though.
Yeah, CMC is probably going to take it, but Saquon is definitely in the discussion. I think that's what's going to hurt. What's going to hurt the Giants is receiving core. Galladay is average at best. They have Sterling Shepard, who
overpaid.
They obviously traded Kadarius Toney, who couldn't stay on the field when he was in New York. We blame the turf. And then also they didn't use Toney properly. With the Chiefs, Toney is flourishing. He is making plays. He's healthy. He's missed like 1 or 2 games with the Chiefs, but he is getting the ball and he's scoring touchdowns. He's making plays for the Chiefs. He's arguably their best receiver. If you watch him and Patrick Mahomes, outside of obviously Travis Kelce, I'm talking about receivers. Travis Kelce is obviously the best player on that team, but so the Giants, what's going to hurt them is that wide receiving core. They have a decent defense. They have a decent offensive line. Evan Neal is still struggling a little bit, but he's looked solid in his rookie campaign. Struggles time to time. That's expected to happen when you're a rookie offensive lineman going against some major talent. The Giants are a team to look out for. Do not count them out. But again, their downfall is going to be the receivers. Yep. So while they did beat the Vikings, when they come to Philly, and I'm not trying to come biased, when those receivers are locked down and Jordan Davis is, he's fully healthy right now, and if they can stop the run, if the Eagles stop the Giants' run, it's game over. Because Daniel Jones, while he is playing as a good quarterback, he's playing decent. The receivers are not helping him out much at all. They have one of the highest drop percentages in the NFL. Now, if Saquon can get going, Daniel Jones gets going with his legs, Jalen Hurts is hurt, and if his shoulder is not fully healthy in a sense where he can't play through the pain, and he looked like he did against the Giants' second and third stringers last week of the season, the Giants could sneak out with a win, and I would not be surprised if the Giants win. And that's coming from an Eagles fan, so I'm saying this is unbiased. I would not be shocked if somehow the Giants, our rival, who I would rather take a bullet to the face saying this, they could sneak out and win. And now, do I think they will? No. but I wouldn't be surprised because the Giants are playing good football. Don't count out on the Giants. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, whatever happens, if they lose to the Eagles, Giants fans should, they should be proud. They should be happy. You didn't win a Super Bowl, whatever, but you guys turned it around. You guys were a laughing stock for the longest time.
Yeah.
Ever since that yacht photo was taken, it has been downhill since then. But you guys, you found it. I don't know how, but you found it. Everybody's playing well. Saquon's back. He looks healthy. So rejoice. You're back to playing some good football. So be happy with whatever happens. Even if you guys lose to the Eagles, be happy.
Be happy with Daniel Jones because he's showing out to be the quarterback that you guys drafted him to be.
This is what happens whenever you invest in your quarterback and you give them time to develop. Granted, they gave them a lot more time than most people would. But this is what happens whenever you take a quarterback, draft them, and actually put time and effort into them.
Yeah.
Cowboys need to find
they definitely do need a field goal kicker. I think Taylor, I saw Taylor warming up his leg out there at halftime.
I will say this. The dude absolutely sucked last night.
He had a good season.
He had a really good season, and I'm hoping it was just a fluke. Sometimes it happens. I mean, it happens with quarterbacks.
Yeah.
It happens with wide receivers. It happens with running backs. It happens with everybody at one point or time during their career where they just have a complete dumpster fire of a game. Usually you don't see that from a kicker that bad. Usually it's like, oh, they missed the game-winning field goal. Oh, my goodness, get rid of them.
Yeah.
4, it was tough. But I definitely don't think they need to find a new or better field goal kicker. And plus, I think Jerry Jones said he was like, "No, we're keeping him." He's proven to us that last night was just a fluke, and he's good to go. Which I believe it. He's good to go. I think it was just, prime time. And you're in the playoffs. A lot is riding on that game, and it just probably got to him mentally.
Yeah, I agree. Now, Tom Brady. Where is he going? I don't think he's done. I don't think he's retiring. In his press conference, he basically said goodbye to Tampa Bay, but he did not show any indication, any inflection in his voice where he said, hey, peace out, NFL. Love you. I'm out. Where do you think Tom Brady's going?
Well, there's a couple of places that are opening up. The Raiders seem to be done with Derek Carr. Derek Carr has issued his goodbye statement to Raiders Nation. Him and Devontae Adams, that'd be a pretty good connection.
Hunter Renfrow and
that would be a pretty decent team right there with Tom Brady. So I could see that happening. Who else needs a quarterback? Broncos Jets. Are sticking with Russell. I don't think he would stoop down to the Jets. Although I think
Patriots fans would hate Brady if he went to the Jets.
I think what has been said that if Tom Brady wants to be considered the greatest of all time and never have like a doubt of his greatness is if he goes to the Jets and wins the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Because regardless of who's on the Jets, they just always suck.
Yeah.
It's like
and they got a squad.
Yeah. They just suck, So having those young players, because it's a young team and a talented team, it could work, because the Buccaneers, they are old.
It's old man
Mike
team.
Evans is a veteran now. You had Julio Jones, and every time that man goes to catch a ball, he gets up. It takes him like 10 minutes to get up. It's just an older team. Leonard Fournette's now a veteran, So going from that to a young team would work out. Colts, Aaron said the Colts. The Colts need a quarterback. I don't see that one happening,
If Tom Brady went to the Colts, every Colts fan, including my father, would no longer watch the Colts.
I don't know.
My grandpa would. My grandpa Jerry, he loves him some Brady. So
it's different. Look, let's say you have a team that, their quarterback at the time sucks. Just a random team, and you're a fan of them. Quarterback sucks. You hate the Patriots. You hate the Buccaneers. You hate Tom Brady. But your team is solid everywhere else outside of the quarterback position. All right, and then they're like, hey, we're signing Tom Brady. You're not going to be like, oh, man, Tom Brady. You're going to be like, All right.
Sweet.
Tom Brady, let's go. It's just like Dak Prescott. Everybody hates Dak Prescott, right? Terrible. We hate him. Boo. Way overpaid. But if the Jets got Dak Prescott, I'm pretty sure that the Jets would actually be a really good team because they have the pieces to surround him to make him better.
Pretty much with the Jets, it's any quarterback outside of Zach Wilson would make the Jets a better team. Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins, Tom Brady,
a rock.
Yeah, a rock. The dude bagging groceries at your local store. Maybe he's the next Kurt Warner. Anybody's better than Zach Wilson.
But we hate certain players on certain teams because of rivalries, or that player just irks me the way that they present themselves or how they play or how they communicate and all this other stuff. But at the end of the day, if your team needs that player and that player gets signed, you're like, let's go Tom Brady.
Listen.
It's not, I'm never watching again.
My dad, if you guys don't know, my dad's a diehard Colts fan from Indiana. If Tom and
pray for him is what he's saying.
Yeah. If Tom Brady went to Indianapolis, my dad might burn every Colts gear that he has in the house.
He said, I will hate the Colts and become a Carolina fan.
Well, you hate yourself if you become a Carolina fan from going to a Colts fan.
Man, talk about hopping to dumpster to dumpster.
Oh, my man's like a homeless person just going from dumpster to dumpster, man.
Could at least jump over to the Eagles and support Brandon's team. At least you'd be going to a winning team.
Yeah. She's like, if I'm leaving the Colts, I'm going to the worst team in the NFL. Hey, if that's what you want to do.
Yeah.
But so those are good fits. I think Tom Brady we haven't seen the last of Tom Brady. By any means. So let's get into these divisional games. Which one do you want to start with? Let's just start Cowboys Eagles. Who you got?
Cowboys Eagles.
No, not Cowboys.
Cowboys 49ers.
Cowboys 49ers, guys. It is late. Lack of sleep deprived. I don't know whatever you want to call it. 49ers Cowboys. Who you got?
49ers. Lock me in on the 49ers.
49ers. Okay. I'm going to go 49ers as well. Again, that time is my bias. I think the Cowboys could win, but I'm pulling my bias out here because I don't want to see the Cowboys win.
I don't want to see the Cowboys win either, but I also don't want to see the 49ers win either.
Yeah, yeah, you're right.
I'm going based off of talent, and I'm going 49ers.
All right, I'm going 49ers as well. Eagles versus the Giants. Who you got?
Mine is biased because I'm rooting for the Eagles for the remainder of this season for you, so I'm going Eagles.
Mine is not biased. I am going to go 100% behind Jalen Hurts and the Eagles. You know it because they got the look at that, the helmet right behind me. Fly Eagles fly. So I'm going to be biased right here too. I'm going to go Philly. If they don't win, welcome to your tape.
I'm gonna cry.
Yeah, welcome to your tape. Okay, we got Chiefs versus Jaguars.
The Jaguars could surprise us. They did it once. They've done it twice. They could do it a third time, but I'm going with the Chiefs.
Going with the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are the best team in the NFL overall right now. So I'm going with Chiefs as well. And then was the Bills versus Bengals. Who you got?
It's going to be a tough one, and it's going to be an exciting game to watch. Unfortunately, we were not able to see this matchup a couple of weeks ago due to a injury or whatever you want to call that. But I think there's a lot of anticipation for this game, and there's a lot of emotions. Yeah. So it's going to kind of create a really watchable, fun game. But I think the Bengals will edge out.
All right, you got the Bengals. I got the Bills that one. I got the Bills. I know I said earlier the Bengals are going to win, but I'm going to go just for the DeMar, the emotions riding high. I think the Bills might come out with some fire, and I just want to, I want to throw a wrench in it. I don't want to sit there and just agree. Yep. So I'm going to go Bills. I think that was it. So in our AFC, the booth, I'll go with the Bengals just for the sense. I'll throw the Bengals in there just for the sense. So Taylor has the Chiefs versus the Bengals. I have the Chiefs versus the Bills. in the AFC Championship game. And then the NFC, we pretty much agreed 49ers versus the Eagles in the NFC Championship game to go to the Super Bowl.
Although if it was the Eagles versus the Cowboys, that'd be a great game.
Matched up number 3. Everyone's healthy. Best team versus best team. Let's see who it is. Is that. So, guys, we want to thank you. Make sure you hit that subscription button. Turn on the bell notification whenever we go live. We like to go live on Tuesday around 7 o'clock. I know today was at 8 o'clock. Things happen, but we're normally at 7 o'clock. Check us out. Follow us on TikTok. Follow us on Twitter. And make sure you follow us on Spotify. I know it's not on the overlay. I need to add that. But we are also on Spotify. Look up The Booth with Taylor and Brandon. Taylor spelled Tailor. Got stuck there. And Brandon. And you'll find us. You'll see our logo. Make sure you like and subscribe. Or make sure you follow there. That way, whenever we're gone, hey, you can still listen to us on the road. Thank you guys for coming out. Thank everyone for chatting with us and putting their input. Taylor, I let you, have a good night, man. I'm going to sign off here.
Have a good night. Everybody be on the lookout on Twitter for a card giveaway.
A card giveaway on Twitter. So if you like cards, check out the Twitter. All right, guys. Peace out.